Hello and welcome to HyzerMedia's coverage of the 23rd Annual Great Eastern Amateur Cup at Tyler State Park, presented by BS Upshot and Bucks County Disc Golf Association. This is round 2 and the final round of the tournament on the West Side course. My name is Brett Hensley and I'm joined by Michael Grofsick. Are you ready for some final round action, Mike? Who do we have on the lead card?
Yeah, hi Brett. Looking forward to seeing this second round after a pretty fun first round. We have Zach Sharp, last year's champion, leading the way at 2 under. Ryan Young at 2 over and Anthony Maldonado at 2 over are behind him. And then Tony will be 4th on the card at +5. And as you can see behind them, it is still pretty close.
Yeah, still a lot to play for here, Mike. Got 18 holes left on this final round. As I said, we'll play on the west side. It's a par 72. There are a lot of hole updates, and we'll go through those as we come to them. But let's start out on hole 19, 258-foot par 3. You'll notice there's a very steep slope going left to right, and you want to get your disc moving really hard left, kind of immediately out of your hand towards the basket, up the hill on the left. And we'll have Zach here showing us a lefty forehand line. He gave it some good height. This looks like he's pushing up. That's kind of your typical play there. This is a kind of more of a bonus birdie. You really got to push that disc way up the hill, but he should have a pretty easy up and down for par.
He didn't quite get the distance he wanted there, but it looked like a great angle coming out of his hand, so I'm sure he'll be happy with that.
Absolutely. Here's Ryan Young, newcomer, on the lead card here. Oh, and it looks like he had a nasty little tree kick there. That's kind of going to push him down the hill, so he's going to have to work through a few trees on his upshot to get to the basket.
This hole not being the longest still gives him definitely an opportunity to save his par.
And Anthony coming back from round 1, looks like he gave it some really good height there. He just pushed it a little bit too straight, but it's very cleared out over there, so he should have an easy jump putt to the basket.
Nice, bro.
And finally, Tony Rodgers joining us on lead card. So he got it up on the hill a little there. You got to be careful. Sometimes you hyzer in and roll away, but it looks like he made some good progress. Let's get to Ryan's upshot. He's got a really smooth upshot backhand game. We'll see a lot of that from him today. Oh, and Zach gave that a really nice bid. I think he hit the right side of the basket.
Yeah, Zach carrying over his putting from round 1 there, it looked like, because he was just about on target from what looked to be about 65, 70 feet.
Yeah, great bid there. And then Anthony with a little forehand flick hits the tree in front of the basket, but he'll have an easy putt. So Tony's got almost a throw in. Good effort there. Came up just a little bit to the right. We should have 4 tap-in pars here to start the day.
I was just about to say, use the
Looks like we're already off to a better start than round 1, where I believe we had a bogey frame, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the easier holes, I think, on the west side. There weren't any birdies, but it averaged very close to par. And a common theme on the west side. Yep, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's a bit of a tight line out of the hand, but not the most distance, not the most in the way, so it definitely makes sense to be one of the easier holes on the day.
Yeah, definitely one of the shorter holes. So we get to a new tee pad here on hole 20. It's now a par 4, where it used to play as a par 3. They've extended it back about 100 feet or so. 422 feet, very sharp downhill to the right. This shapes up really well for a lefty. Let's see how Zach's going to play it. Looks like he made the initial gap, and he's down there, but he contacted a late tree, so he'll have kind of upshot distance from there to get around a few trees, but still within birdie range.
I think anytime you're down in that landing, you're going to be pretty happy. As you can see here from this camera angle, and that shot, it's not the easiest shot to make.
Yeah, that you can see the original long tee pad there that was kind of right in front of the gap. This pushing it back here definitely makes the gap hit a lot more difficult. You can see Ryan and Anthony both contact the same tree and kick off onto the hill.
I think Anthony benefited from a little bit of a kinder bounce than Ryan did there.
Tony's through the gap. It's a little low and right, and he'll hit a tree and kind of end up in a similar spot as Anthony. It's like maybe Ryan took the worst of it there, having to pitch out. Looks like he leaked down the hill a little bit. That's going to be a tough shot to get up and down for to save his par. See what he has left.
Yeah, he kind of ended up where the other guy's drives did on his second shot, so definitely going to be a tough par to save.
See Tony there contacting some trees. He'll have another tough up and down shot. It looks like Anthony got through right side. That should be a long putt there. It looks like he got to about circle's edge, so he'll have a look for birdie. Here's where Ryan's upshot landed. He's got a great touch on that backhand, just really smooth. And he gets right, probably edge of circle again. So he should be able to at least have a look there to save his par.
He did pretty well there, all things considered.
Tony more of the forehand specialist. He goes a little long over the wood pile there. It's going to be a tricky comebacker there to save his par. I think we finally get to Zach's drive. And he's going to hit kind of an early tree. It's going to be a deep circle 2 look for birdie.
Outside?
Good bid there by Zach.
Yeah, the one thing it seems like with Zach is that he's always giving it the height it needs. He doesn't really seem to come up short. He really trusts his putt and gives it a real chance.
What a putt by Anthony, continuing some of that hot late round putting we saw in round 1. Fantastic, down to a knee. Great way to start your round.
We'll see if that gives him some momentum, and a nice putt from Ryan there to save that par. He did a very good job from the initial, not even just the initial drive, but the initial 2 shots that left him in not the best place to save par. Was a good look from him there.
Yeah, fantastic scramble, and then ending with a really solid putt there. Let's see, Tony's going to have to go over these logs. He's got a really good spin putt. Oh, and he just kind of pulled that wide to the right. So our leader will get through a couple pars to start. Really only losing 1 stroke to Anthony here. So Anthony will pull within 3 strokes of Zach early in the round.
Yeah, you got to think with the toughness of this course, if Zach can play par golf today, or in this round rather, he'll probably walk away with the victory, I would think, with a 4-stroke lead.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Anything can happen at Tyler, that's for sure. So hole 21, this is definitely the shortest par 3 on the course. It's only 175 feet, really tight woods. It played as the easiest hole on the course, averaging about a half stroke under par. So let's see if these guys can pick up the birdies here.
And if I'm remembering correctly from the first round, I think this is the first hole of the tournament that did actually play under par.
I believe you're right. And we see right there, great forehand shot from Anthony. Park job right on the basket. Really the play is to get over these logs right down the middle and have your disc kind of either fade or turn gently there, as Zach shows a little bit of gentle fade right at the basket. He'll have a tap in. Ryan's going to throw a gentle turnover. Clears the logs. He should have a putt, and he does. He'll have a little bit deeper of a putt.
You really just want to make sure you're getting a look on this one. Doesn't have to be super close, but you don't want to walk away with needing to do a little pitch up to tap out the par. You want to give yourself a birdie chance at least.
Absolutely, and all of our players have given themselves a putt at this. Looks like Ryan didn't fully commit to that putt. See that spin putt again from Tony.
Yep.
There it is, right on the stripe. Good putt by Tony to get on the board.
You, after these last 2 holes, absolutely not.
It's always nice to bounce back from a bogey with a birdie and just immediately cancel it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tony's going to have some work to do, being at +5, trying to come back to win this thing. He's going to have to make up quite a few strokes to get on the podium. And lead card doing lead card things here with 3 birdies and a par. Good way to start so far from the lead. And let's do a little leaderboard check-in. What do you see here, Mike?
The top couple guys, Zach and Anthony, are maybe starting to pull away a little bit, separate themselves, but there's still 4 or 5 guys that are probably in contention, all things considered.
Yeah, absolutely. Should be a good finish. Here we have a hole 22. It's a par 4. Really want to just hit this gap right here. It's another tight gap, kind of like what we saw on the east side, and having your disc fade gently to the left. And it looks like Anthony kind of pulled over on that. He'll hit a tree, but should be in the fairway. It's going to be a tough birdie from there, but he'll have some options. Looks like Zach's opting for the lefty turnover here. I think he's playing himself to a really good spot. Yeah, that's fantastic. He's past that down log. Anytime you can get up there, you're doing something right.
He's doing a lot of forehands in situations where I thought he might go turnover, and now I'm questioning why a little bit, because that lefty turnover was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see Tony's effort there, just kind of hit an early tree and went left. He's going to have to scramble to save that. Ryan's playing the left side. It's a little open over there. And I think it worked out. I know, having played this hole, if you can progress down that left side, it kind of opens up a little bit more to the access to the green. So he should have something over there.
Yeah, with how he was lined up, I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but it definitely worked out for him.
Yeah, for sure. You can see Tony was early left, and it's just a jungle right there. He's going to have to keep scrambling. Anthony's in a good position to attack the green, but a lot of guardian trees, and he clips one on his way to the up there. Tony's still trying to play the left side here. Looks like he progressed pretty far up, but I think he's going to have probably a circle 2 look to save that par. You can see Ryan's in a pretty open spot. He's just got to get up and over and around a couple trees here. And he does so really well. It looks like he pushed into the circle, so he'll have a look for birdie.
Yeah, after everyone's seeing that initial gap, if you want to call it that, off the tee, having any look at birdies, you're going to feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, and unfortunately Anthony there exploded off a tree, but we finally get to Zach's drive, and look how far up he is. He's just got a little pitch up here to the basket, and look at that. Parked for his birdie. He's made that hole look really easy.
He's certainly starting round 2 like he wants to repeat at the top of the leaderboard.
Absolutely. Good upshot there by Tony. It's a little further back than I thought. I think he's going to be putting in for bogey. Anthony's going to give it a bid, but come up a little short, so it's also going to take a bogey on this hole. Oh, just off the left side of the basket there from Ryan. Good bid.
Yeah, it looks like Ryan's been just a little bit off on his putting so far. Not too bad, but just not getting it quite where he needs it to be.
Yeah, agreed. He's going to have to start picking up some strokes with Zach kind of coming out of the gates pretty hot here at 2 under. So Zach's going to gain another stroke on Ryan and 2 on Anthony and Tony. All right, so next hole, hole 23. It's a 369-foot par 3, very downhill. You want to throw something straight, either a putter or mid-range at this basket that's slightly off to the left. If you can see the wood pile down there, you kind of want to go over top of that and then have your basket fade, or have your disc fade slightly to the left towards the basket. It's a tough lefty shot, but Zach's been throwing a pretty good turnover. And yeah, that'll do. That'll get him down there. I don't think he'll have much of a look at birdie, but pretty easy par from there.
Yeah, I think he overturned that one just a little bit, but it's definitely still a shot you'll take when you're looking at the angle off the tee you have, especially as a lefty.
Yeah, absolutely. That looked textbook there from Ryan. I think he just kind of didn't get enough speed on it to get it past that middle tree, unfortunately. It kind of faded off into it. And Anthony's probably coming out a little short, and he made contact with the tree left side. He'll have to kind of maybe go up and over to save his par. And Tony just kind of early released that one, unfortunately. It's going to be really wide left. That's going to be a tough save from over there.
Yeah, it looks like he's buried quite deep in the jungle there, but pretty nice
wow.
throw out. Unfortunately, carried a little bit too far.
Yeah, you know, I think you kind of take that. He'll at least have a look. From there, it's really tough to even see the basket from where he was. Good touch, forehand upshot. Just have to kind of maybe straddle out from that tree to make the putt. Oh, and Ryan connects with the tree, so he's going to have a long putt to save his par.
Yeah, we didn't quite see it there, but it looked from the camera flip that he hit something a little bit early in the shot, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Zach comes up a little short, but again, he's been putting pretty well. So, and you can see Ryan did come up short. Tried to give that a little safe bid. There is a little bit of slope behind the basket, so you definitely don't want to go too far. And unfortunately, it looked like Tony just kind of it's in the middle of the woods there. Couldn't really give it much of an effort. Solid straddle putt there from Anthony to save the par.
Yeah, he's another guy that's been putting very well so far in this tournament.
And Zach's just kind of doing what you need to do to keep that lead. So he'll gain another stroke on Ryan.
Yeah, like I had mentioned before, par golf, could very well be enough to get the job done, and he's starting below par, so that's obviously, where he wants to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll go to hole 24. It's a 551-foot par 5. Not a very long par 5, but there is a dogleg left right off of the tee. So you want to get that disc really moving left. It's not exactly a lefty-friendly shot, but we'll see what Zach can pull off with a nice little turnover here. You really only need to get to that log right there, and he's done that perfectly. You don't really need to make the corner. I think as long as you get to that log, you'll have a really good shot at getting a birdie.
Yeah, it's interesting from Zach because he's been playing very well. Obviously, he's at the top of the leaderboard, and he's been throwing a good amount of forehands, but the last few holes we've seen him switch to that lefty turnover. We'll see if he stays with that approach. He seems to have a good feel for it right now.
Absolutely. It's like Anthony just kind of pulled that one off to the right. He's probably going to be in the woods there. And Ryan with an early release, unfortunately. It's going to be early left. There is some OB over there on the left side, but you need to progress a little bit more forward on the left side of the dog leg.
Nice full turn. Yeah, babe. Yeah, well done. Shot 10. Thanks.
And Tony's able to get up on the hill. That should be just fine for his next shot. He'll be in position. Solid flex forehand there from Anthony. That'll put him back in position. He might be able to get a birdie from there.
Yeah, and that
Ryan's
was something we noted in the first round as well, was that flex forehand out of Anthony. Really helped him a lot in round 1, and it looks like he's carrying that over in round 2 so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan there, he was in a tough spot with that OB on the left side, but he was able to navigate the fairway there and get pretty far down. Looks like Tony threw a forehand there. He's another fairway hit, so he should be in a spot where he can hopefully get up and down.
Yeah, he bit off a lot of distance there, too. That was a good throw from Tony.
And Zach just kind of pured that until the last tree. Didn't really cost him much distance, so he's still in position. Fortunately, Anthony hit a tree, so he's going to have a long look at his birdie. There is, again, it's in kind of a tricky green. The basket, behind the basket, there's some OB road, so you have to come in with a little bit of touch on your upshots and putts. Sounded like Tony contacted a tree, but I couldn't really see where that landed. We'll have to see what putt he's left with.
Yeah, it also sounded like he hit a lot of foliage in his actual throwing motion, so he was in a bit of a tough spot there.
Zach kind of pulled that one left, but it looked like it worked out for him. He should have a circle putt there. Yeah, tough to run that with the OB back there. You can see behind the cameraman. See if Ryan's going to give it a bid. Looks like he tried, but it's a safe bid. And Tony's just pitching up there.
Unfortunately, it's skirted down the hill a little bit on him. Still inside the circle. Should be able to make that for the comebacker, but probably left himself a little more than he wanted.
And there it is. Zach's getting strokes on folks right now. Just really lighting up this front portion at 3 under. There's a solid comebacker there from Tony. Save his par. And then we'll have, I think, a couple of other par tap-ins here. But again, Zach just getting another stroke on the whole lead card. So let's do a leaderboard check-in. What do you see here, Mike?
Well, it's kind of a broken record at this point, but Zach does appear to be pulling away. I mean, he's got a 6-stroke lead at this point. And then, behind Anthony, things are still a little bit on the tighter side, but Zach's certainly giving himself some breathing room.
Definitely. Thanks, Mike. So now we'll go to hole 25. It's an island hole, 333 feet, par 3 rather. If you don't make the island, you proceed to the drop zone just inside. We'll see Zach's shot here kind of got held up. There's OB there outside the island. It looks like he may have filtered back inbounds. I didn't see a graphic for the OB, so he may be safe.
Yeah, I think he kicked just out from that tree and got maybe about a foot or so in bounds, it looked like.
Anthony's going to need a similar kind of help here, but unfortunately doesn't get it. He's going to be out of bounds there and proceeding to the drop zone. Oh, looks like Ryan overturned that a little bit into the trees, but it does come back, and he's safe. It's a long way from the basket, but at least it'll be an easy par from there.
Yeah, he had just enough stability on that disc to find its way back in bounds.
Tony's forcing this one over on backhand. Must be pretty stable. It's going to fade out, and it looks safe on the left side there. So here's the drop zone shot. You really have almost no chance of saving unless you can throw it in.
Provisional.
And it looks like, yeah, Anthony's going to have a tough putt there to get up and down. Zach will just pitch that one up. You have to be careful with a little speed control there. There is a little bit of a hill that can send your disc down and out of bounds. He's giving a little bit of bid. Good effort there from Tony. It's kind of a hard one to run. You're really close to the OB. And there you can see the disc kind of came up on edge, but luckily it didn't have much speed.
Yeah, that definitely would have been an unfortunate break if that continued to roll out of bounds on the short layup.
Oh, what a putt by Anthony to save the bogey. That was incredible. Really needed that one to kind of stay in it. Would have been a tough double bogey to take.
Giving the basket a little love there.
And we'll have some par tap-ins here. All right, let's go to hole 26. Some new improvements on this hole. It's a par 5, 648 feet. The basket used to be up on that anthill right there, as you can see, but they cut out all of this section of woods and actually pushed the basket about 200 feet to 250 feet back behind the anthill to make it a par 5 as opposed to a par 4. So let's see, off the tee, it kind of sets up nicely for a lefty. You kind of want to hit that gap on the left side, have your disc fade to the right. We'll see if Zach can pull that off.
Looks like he did so far.
Yeah, that's a real good spot.
Yeah, he might have ended up a little close to that tree, but I think off the tee you're still definitely going to take that location.
Ryan may opt to play through the right here with the backhand. It looks like he is, but unfortunately it's the middle tree.
Not quite where you want to be.
It is a really tough right-hand backhand line. This is more traditional for the righty, throwing a forehand through that left gap. Tony's trying to pull that. Looks like he's got a good hyzer flip there. And fading right to where Zach's disc was, so they'll have similar upshots. It's like Anthony's opting for the same line as Tony.
Yeah, that's great. Good job, man.
And another similarly really good result as the disc just hangs onto the hillside, doesn't roll away too far. Ryan's going to have to kind of pitch out here to get back on the fairway. It looks like he hit some early branches, and I think he's landed kind of over on the... Okay, he didn't go all the way behind the rock, so he can still throw over the anthill from here. Looks like he might be on that path or close to it, so hopefully he'll have an open shot to the green from there.
Anthony has a very smooth forehand. Really nice, clean, easy release.
Yeah, great placement there. Oh, and Tony just connected with a tree on the right. I don't know if it just kind of slipped out of his hand. Didn't look like he had a good grip on the disc.
Yeah, he might have slightly misjudged his distance from the tree there and thought he was a little safer than he actually was.
Yeah, the weather was absolutely cooking and a lot of humidity on the day, and I think it really made forehands tough to try and get that grip. I know I was constantly wiping my hands on my towel and my chalk sack, and I'm sure these guys are as well. See if Tony can get out of there. Looks like he did. He's still going to have to kind of work to get up and down from where he is. Ryan with a smooth backhand up to the green. What a shot.
Yeah, he needed that one. That was a really nice recovery shot after a pretty tough start to the hole for him.
So Anthony's not left with much. He just has to kind of get around this big tree here, and he splits them. And it looks good. He may have went a little long, but I think he's well within the circle there.
Definitely did well to give himself a look.
And that touch forehand for Zach's been working out all day. He does go a little longer than Anthony, but he'll have a somewhat challenging putt for birdie there. But he's had the hot putter all day.
Yeah, I was going to say, watching him the round and a half we've watched so far, I definitely wouldn't have bet against him making that one.
For sure. There's a good upshot there from Tony. Oh, that could have caught. That looked like it was low enough and in the basket. Just a kind of left side maybe spit out. So Tony will take a par. It may be a par frame from the card here. I know Zach will be putting for par. Except actually, I think Anthony might be set up for birdie. Yeah, good save from Ryan. Kind of in a really bad position off the tee, but that's really quality par save.
Yeah, Ryan and Tony both with very good par saves. Ryan had struggled off the tee, and then Tony had great first shot and then hit that very, very early tree on his second shot, putting him in a bad spot. So they both did well to come out of this with pars.
Yeah, solid putt there from Anthony, taking the only birdie. Really quality there. I know hole 26 played is one of the more harder holes on the course for sure on the day. It was tied for the third most difficult hole on the course. Speaking of difficult holes, this is the second most difficult hole on the course, averaging 1.29 strokes over par. It's a 640-foot par 4. off the tee, you have to throw over this hill, get your disc moving a little bit to the left, and getting out on the fairway. And then it's really another full shot onto a really difficult green. You can see Anthony just kind of pulled his shot a little over to the right, unfortunately. It's going to be a really tough par save from back there.
Yeah, no.
It's like Zach's got up over the hill, connected on the trees on the left side, but he should have something to work with there.
Yeah, it's one of those holes that's a tough par save even when you're throwing your shot off the tee. So anything less than a good drive, you're definitely putting yourself in a very tough spot.
Love it.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Great
and
job,
Ryan
Ryan.
just
Thank you.
throws it right down the middle. That is a fantastic drive right there.
Yeah, definitely one of his better shots of the day. Absolutely pured that gap.
That's
great, bro.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah.
Tony's going forehand here.
Good job, Tom.
And he gets up and over. That's not too bad a spot there on the right side. It's a little more open than the tree jail on the left. See if Anthony can get back into position here. It looks like he's going maybe roller.
It felt okay.
And he got up over the hill. I couldn't really see where he landed.
Yeah, we kind of heard him in the background there. I wasn't sure if it was intentional or not, but we kind of heard him say that it felt okay there, and that makes me think maybe it was intentional.
Yeah, it looked like a forehand roller for sure. And Zach just kind of hit the ceiling there and hit some tree branches. Tony's trying to throw a big forehand here. He's over by where the B basket would be. And if it rolls out a little, he might be able to stretch out and throw the rest of the fairway from there. And Ryan's in great position here. Gets around that tree. Yeah, pretty good. Not bad. It's a tough par 4 for sure. You could almost argue this should be a par 5. But yeah, this definitely plays as a very difficult hole here on the west side. Anthony has to throw over that water fountain.
Good kick. Bad. Real bad.
Oh, and unfortunately, there is a big slope on the left side. And I think Anthony's disc may have went down towards that slope.
Yeah, it's actually one of those where you might be better off with some OB because that looked like he ended up a ways down the hill there.
Yeah. It seems like Zach found similar rough over there on the left side. That looked like a fantastic shot from Tony there to at least give himself a chance at the par there. Ryan's in good position here to save his par. If that can sit. And it kind of went beyond that rock wall, retaining wall, so he's going to have a challenging uphill putt. And you can see how thick the forest is over there. I don't even know who that was. I think it may have been Zach trying to throw out.
I think it might have been Anthony, and then this is him because it looked like it was a right-handed player.
Okay.
But
yeah, it's just bad over there.
That gives an idea of how tough the shot was. Not really even sure who threw it.
Yeah, and so I think that was Zach there getting up and down. Really good out. Wants that to sit for sure. Okay. At least it caught on the rock wall. Sometimes those can roll over. Solid, confident putt there from Tony. Really good par. That's a tough hole.
Yeah, Tony has a unique style with that spin putt, but it seems to work really well for him.
Yeah, he's really dialed that spin putt in over the past year. He used to throw it like 100 miles an hour. And when he went long, he went real long. But he's been really working on that. Good to see him hitting putts like that. Unfortunately, Anthony's taking a triple. That's what that left side will do to you if you're not careful. And Zach will take a bogey. Not so bad. This averaged 1.29 strokes over par. There were no birdies today, but I got to give a shout out to a couple of my doubles partners on Friday, or on my card, Evan Van Schie and Jeremy Guth. They had a tap-in birdie on this hole. It was a pretty sight to behold. But here we are, we got the score updates. So halfway through, we've got Zach at -4, kind of taking control of the round. See anything else you notice on the leaderboard here? Anyone else working their way up?
Yeah, it's looking like Evan is making his way back into the picture from the chase card, but it seems right now like it's going to be a chase for second place at the moment. I think Zach, with his 7-stroke lead, is looking pretty good to repeat.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks to our sponsors at Elevation Discs. And we've only got 9 more holes left of the Great Eastern Am Cup. Hope you guys tune in for the second round. Remember to click subscribe on HyzerMedia, and we'll see you for the finale of the Great Eastern Am Cup. Can't wait.